Okay, this is the last of my sewing machine drawers. The last one you'll see in another video I turned into a tall lamp with a flameless candle in it. But I think I'm going to turn this one back into a birdhouse. It's coming into spring, and I'd like to see a few more birdhouses when I'm done. So what I've done is I've taken this, cleaned it up a little bit. Then I've taken my saw, or my grinder actually, and I've ground a piece of slate that fits into there. And then I carved this one out to fit into there. Then I've taken some of my favorite little pondo pine and I've cut it to fit into the contour of the slate, like that. Then I cut another piece of pondo pine to go into a location here. And then I cut another piece of slate that's going to attach to here. So what's going to happen is this is going to end up looking something similar to this. And that'll be my opening. And I'll come back in and put a perch that they can land on and stuff like that. But then down the road, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my favorite little moss in here and put a piece here. And then I'm going to put another piece maybe here to form the birdhouse opening. And it's going to start to look something like that when I start gluing it back on and putting it all together. But right now I'm going to drill a hole in here, try to figure out a way that I can come up with you know, I don't know, some sort of a perch or just something kind of cool that the bird can land on and go into there. And then I'll make it so that I think I'll probably make it so that it sits on its bottom, but I'm not really sure. We'll see how that goes too. But anyhow, this is what I'm up to right now. And this is what I've got for the start. Okay, well, I guess I kind of turned it into a baking show because now you're looking from the top view. Less frying pans, of course, and ovens. What I've done since I showed you the drawer is I've cut these individual pieces of slate, and I've also cut some real nice pieces of pondo bark pine, and I've also added another piece of slate over onto this side. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding some highlights on it. You can't quite see it right now, but it will be coming to show you. Maybe I can turn it. Let's see, I'll turn it this way to show you that I've got a piece of petrified rock on the bottom. I can't quite let you see it yet because it's still gluing there, but there's a little bit of it. It's a petrified fossil clam that we found along the Oregon coast once. And what I'm thinking about doing now is adding a little highlight. I'm going to put some what appears to be small little tree branches. I've got the moss already in. And then ultimately what I'm going to do is as this dries, which is not dry yet, I'm going to take this old railroad spike and I'm going to put it in here so that what it will do is it will lay out and it will give the bird a place to land, and it will look something similar to that when I'm done. Got a ways to go yet, but at least I thought I'd show it to you maybe from the top side. See if I can turn it like that just to kind of show you. I guess I'd go like this for you to see how it's going to look. Or better yet, I could turn it around like this and show it to you like that of how it's going to look when I get it close to done. So we're getting there. I just thought I'd show you that while I'm going along. I forgot to do some videos. Nice view of the top of my forehead, by the way. Here's another angle of the goofy view that I showed you a couple minutes ago, but this is what it's going to look like when I'm done. This is laying obviously on its back side, but you can see the petrified shell that I have in here and the highlights I'm going to put in for the side just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then ultimately it's going to be sitting like that. That's what you're going to see when it's all glued up. Just can't let it go yet till it glues. Almost a disaster. So I want to put this railroad spike that I got in, I think, New Mexico, into here for something for the bird to land on. But I want the angle to be lower. So what I'm going to do is take my Dremel drill and grind this all out and make it so that the spike can lay down into this piece of wood a little bit better, make it look a little nicer. Okay, so I've ground out this piece of wood now and made it so that my railroad spike fits down in it to allow the bird to land onto it. You're actually looking at it on its back side. I'm going to set it up in just a second, but I want that all to get nice and glued together and stay where it's going to be and all of that. So I'm going to leave it alone for a little while. and let it harden up. But this is how it's going to look right now. I'm thinking about, once I set it up, Bonnie's got some real nice antler pieces that are around. I might put a nice antler piece on the top of it to make it look a little nicer too, but that's what it's going to look like right now, laying on its backside, and we'll go from there. So I've decided I've got to put some legs on the bottom of this, or something that it can sit on. So I've got my special sauce that I've mentioned before of a piece of steel wool and vinegar. And what this does is it will turn this piece of I guess it's a beaver chew actually, that I've skinned, and it will turn it from a white into more of an antique or kind of a brown looking color, which I like a little bit more to go with this. It's too white to be on the bottom of this right now. So you just dip it in there, let it sit on a piece of napkin someplace, and in about a half an hour or an hour it will turn into a real nice kind of a gray. And then I'll put them on the bottom of the birdhouse. Okay, well, I'm getting closer to the end. What I've done is I've gotten the railroad spike glued in, as you can see. I'm now putting a couple of legs on the bottom that it can set up if it wants to sit on these legs and be above the petrified clam shell, so that it'll sit nice and flat. I think I might still run a cable on the backside in case somebody wants to hang it off of a tree. And then I'm going to take my Flat Creek Studio logo that I make out of tree stems and glue it onto there. Then I'm going to set it up so that I can see what it looks like. And our friends Rick and Michelle gave us a bunch of antlers, so I'm thinking about trying to figure out a way that I can put an antler maybe on the top somehow. I'm not quite sure how. I'm not sure if I will or not. But I've got some real nice deer antlers that I can play with to see if maybe I can make a handle or a carrying handle or something that will allow you to hang it from a tree if you want to. So that's next. Right now I'm just going to let these guys all settle down and dry up, and then we'll go from there. Well, I think I'm going to call this one done. I've finished it up with a nice old piece of stick with some lichen and different types of tree moss on it. I got my railroad tie and my petrified clam shell entry with pondo pine bark and slate from up in the mountains, and built on an old sewing machine drawer. I think I might put a wire across the back so that it can be hung if you want as well. Well, you can see my breath today. It's cold out here in the studio. I just got out here and turned on the heater, but it's still only 41 in here. But anyways, there it is. I'm going to call it home, the last of the sewing machine drawers.